Well, Alberta is going to the polls yet again. Premier Jim Prentice dropped the writ in Edmonton on Tuesday. That means that Albertans are going to the polls for May 5th. For those keeping track, the PC government here is trying to obtain its 13th consecutive majority government. And if that sounds insane, it's because it is. This party has been in power for 43 years. It was first elected to government under Peter Lougheed in 1971. That means that it is the longest serving government in any comparable first world democratic parliamentary system. So the question remains, is this party actually going to stay in power for another 4 years? Will it be able to mark a 48th year in power? Or does any other party have a real shot? Polling numbers are very interesting. They're showing that the Alberta NDP is showing some kind of surge in support, but its support is fairly geographically constrained to Edmonton. Meanwhile, the Wildrose Party is also showing a surge since a very unpopular budget was passed a few weeks ago. However, the Wildrose was potentially fatally crippled in December when its former leader, Danielle Smith, crossed the floor along with 8 other Wildrose MLAs. That's left the organization with very little organizational support and a real drop-off in fundraising. So whether or not they can actually form government is very, very much up in the air. Whether or not they can even form opposition is really a remaining question, and it's entirely possible they may lose opposition status. So the question remains, why is this election even being called? There was legislation in place that would have put this election off to 2016, and that's been more or less bulldozed over. However, since the last election in 2012, we've seen the resignation of Alison Redford amid scandal and turmoil. We've seen a dramatic drop in oil prices that's taken about a $7 billion hole out of the budget. And of course, we've seen a new premier. All of this has led Jim Prentice to argue that Alberta needs a chance to vote for its leaders. However, probably the most likely reason why we're having an election right now is that all the other opposition parties are very weak and the economy's not likely to get any stronger. All of this means that now's the time for the Tories to secure another 4 years in power. Whether or not they'll be able to do that, of course, is anybody's guess. For the National Post, I'm Jen Gerson.